Let me introduce y'all to Juuna'e, aka Creoleluhvn. Part of her life's work and what she's passionate about has literally saved my life. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it today.
As far as the question of how does faith impact mental health, when I think about my entire journey, if I had to summarize it, it would really be like, I wasn't raised Christian. I wasn't raised religious at all. And then I became a Christian, but my family didn't. In the midst of all of that, everything that I learned, all of the skills of how to love people through disagreements, how to listen to what people are actually saying, like just how to navigate taboo topics with people, controversial topics with people, whether it's politics, religion, it doesn't matter. But there's just so much that I learned over these past 14 years, and that's what I do now. And so I teach people to really know why they believe what they believe, like, and not just know why you believe what you believe, but also how to navigate a conversation with people about your beliefs, because that matters as well. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I know why I think this. I don't care if people don't agree with me. It's like, well, you think you don't care until somebody that you actually do care about disagrees with you. And now you're like, oh, shoot, I don't know how to have this conversation. The art of asking questions, okay, is like powerful, because all you have to do is literally ask a question. They're going to say what they say. Ask a question. You don't got to make any offensive comments. You know what I mean? So when I say, yeah, this phone was literally just made 5 seconds ago, a question could be like, 5 seconds ago, as in like regular seconds. Like, that's what you're talking about? It's like, yeah, 5 seconds ago. It's like, how did it get in your hand? It's like, well, I picked it up off the table. Was it on the table more than 5 seconds ago? I mean, it's like you're just exploring, because if you keep doing that, you're going to have to trace it all the way to its bottom. The truth is going to come out like, you don't have to be like, no, that's stupid. Like, what you mean 5 seconds ago? Like, that's where here comes people getting offended. Here comes the argument. It's like, but if you just ask questions, you shouldn't get into no argument unless you yourself get irritated because they start being unreasonable. If they say like, well, I don't know why you keep asking me questions. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where for your own sanity, and I'm learning this a lot in my life, like, and it's been a process, especially because my issues are with when they're being unreasonable and petty and all these things. It's kind of, you got a decision to make. You're like, do I want to endure in this conversation after I notice they're being petty or unreasonable or whatever? Or do I want to say, nope, I noticed that, so I'm going to protect myself and be like, okay, well, it seems like, and it's like, just be nice. Because you could be nice and still cut the conversation and decide not to engage. And honestly, I think that that's the best approach, because it causes the other person to have to sit in their own guilt or shame or just whatever their thoughts are. And they can't put blame on you because you didn't come at them crazy. You didn't call them outside their name. You didn't do it. Your conscience is clear. All you did was ask them questions to try to get to the bottom of their belief. An example, like, even for that would be like, oh, okay, a person that says like, yeah, I mean, I don't really do the God thing. I don't really believe God exists. It's kind of like, oh, okay. Like, and even to like not all automatically start judging, like, because you don't want people to do that to you. So it's like when someone says something like, yeah, I don't really rock with the religious stuff. I don't believe God exists. It could be like oh, okay. So when it comes to like, because if you believe God created the universe, then obviously that is a belief you have, which means if someone doesn't believe there's a God, that's a valid question to be like, what's your reason for the universe being here if there's no God? Like, how do you think it got here? Question. It's soft, it's sensitive. It's like you're genuinely asking. If a person's like, I think it was just always here, it's like, oh, okay. And now here comes where the tools come from of just learning. It's like, oh, well, in my research, I noticed that, scientists, modern science says the universe actually isn't eternal. It actually had a beginning. Like the universe, that's a scientific fact that the universe had a beginning. So if it isn't eternal, like, how do you think it started if it had a beginning? Like, where was it before? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And that's how the conversation should go. Like, it makes it a very smooth conversation. And yes, some say the Big Bang. I actually agree with the Big Bang 1,000%. We just know who banged it. I mean, it's literally, the Big Bang just means the universe started expanding. That's all the bang is. It's like, it wasn't an explosion, it was an expansion. And so it's like, but in order for something to expand, it needs the power to even start expanding, which God is all powerful. Like, he is at the fundamental foundation of all that exists. So, but see, it's even that, like when someone says like, well, I don't do the religious stuff. I believe in the Big Bang. It's like, how did it bang? Like what, let's talk about it. It's like, you don't have to be like, no. I mean, it's like, you don't got to make it this argument is the point. So for one, I have a book, and for two, on my social media, I go through so many different tools and skills and ways to like have these conversations with people where, again, you'll feel so confident to encounter any conversation. Like, I mean, y'all could throw the craziest stuff at me. Like, I do it for role plays for fun, just to show like how to make the craziest statement a great conversation and win a friend. Even if you don't win the argument, you still win a person at the end of the day. I balance both out. It's like the intellect, but then also navigating the actual conversation. So I would say like the intellect and the love in the midst. So yeah, that's literally my number one passion. That's all I focus on in my life. So, which is why I'm an apologist, because I teach people how to defend what they're confident about, defending their faith, defending what they're confident about. The word faith just means confidence. It's like, we don't have to say faith. The word faith actually derives from the word confident. It's confidio. So it's to be confident about something. So when you say like, oh, faith in God, faith in Jesus Christ, it's like you have confidence in God. Like, I have confidence that he will come through. I think of anything that you're confident about right now. Like, and when I say confident, you have a reason for why you're confident, because that's what the word confident means. It's like, if you don't have a reason for why you believe something or think something, then I don't know where your confidence comes from, actually. So it's like, when you're actually confident about something, that confidence actually protects you from anything that's coming to oppose that thing, because you know why you think that. You know why you believe that. And it could be something from a serious subject to a not so serious subject. Let's say you're at a game and there's a kid that's about to, he's dribbling and he's about to make a shot. And you're just like, I'm confident that he's going to make this shot. If somebody was to ask you why, and you were like, I don't know, I just am, I just feel it. It's like, okay. It's like, you don't have no reason why you're confident that he's going to make this shot. But then let's say a different scenario where you're at a game and then the person sitting next to you says, I'm confident that he's going to make this shot. And you're like, oh, why do you think that? And he's like, I'm his trainer. We've been working on this all month. He has a whole track record of reasons and evidence for why he actually is confident about that thing. But the thing is, though, is neither person in both examples actually knows for a fact or sees the shot before it happens, but their confidence is rooted in something else. So when you're actually confident and you have reasons for why you're confident, it actually allows you to, it makes you walk different. It makes you carry yourself different. It makes you feel like, I don't mind if somebody challenges me or asks me. If you've ever been told in church spaces where it's just like, oh, homosexuality is a sin, or if you don't come to church on time or every week, God's mad at you, you need a tithe 10%. It's like, did you look into this stuff for yourself? Or are you just letting people tell you stuff and you're just taking it? But the minute you challenge, all of a sudden, it's like, are people going to give you their reason why? Or do they just want you to follow them? They don't want you to think. They don't want you to know for yourself and make it make sense for yourself. And when you don't make it make sense for yourself, that allows other people to actually, it has them control you and make the decision for you. And you're just following along, parroting what you've heard, being a puppet. And we're not called to be puppets. It's like we are powerful. Like we have a whole mind. Like we can, like God gave us the ability to reason. He gave us the ability to be logical, to actually test things. And Jesus even encourages that. He's like, don't believe every single spirit that comes to you. Like, for what? Like any type of teaching or whatever that comes to you, it's like, no, you need to actually process it thing for yourself in order to protect yourself. I think that's kind of like the connection from being confident and the mental health factor in order to protect your own self. It goes back down to breaking things down all the way to their bottom. When you say a sentence or make a claim about anything, there's so much to unpack in that claim. And if you don't take the whole sentence serious or the whole claim serious, that's where deception and that's when all that comes in. Whether you're saying it to somebody or receiving a claim that someone's saying or saying it, if you don't actually dissect it. So for example, when someone says homosexuality is sin, you got 3 words there. Homosexuality is sin. You have to define, so I would start there, defining your terms that you're using, because sometimes people just be talking and they don't even know what they're talking about. So it's like you want to check, like testing is so important. So for your own self and for other people that you're talking to even check yourself to make sure, am I just talking? Am I saying stuff that has no grounding? It doesn't make any sense. So it's like, okay, homosexuality, what does that mean? What does that word mean? And then the word is, that might be funny, that might seem technical, but it's like, if you're going to say homosexuality is sin, here's an example on why even the word is matters. To say killing is sin or killing is wrong. It's like is means it is. Is that true about killing? Do you think it's like objectively wrong if you kill a bug? If you killed out of self-defense? It's like, are you saying the act of taking a life is wrong? No questions asked at all. So someone tried to break in your house and your whole family's back here and they said, I'm coming in, and you took their life because they were about to take yours and take your family. Do you think you're really in sin against God because you protected and you did something loving? But killing is sin. It's like, no, it's not. You might say that about murder is sin, but there are moments where self-defense or there's gray in there. So you can't make that a factual statement. So going back to homosexuality, it's like homosexuality is sin. So it's like, once you know what you're talking about with homosexuality, it's like, okay, are we talking about it's always no questions asked? And then sin, the word sin. How do we define sin? And that might sound funny too if you grew up in the church, but I swear people don't know this answer. The word sin means to miss the mark. That comes from the original language. Like it was an archery term. Like y'all know Hunger Games, like archery. So it's like to sin means to miss the mark. So it wasn't even a negative thing. It just means you missed it. You failed to hit the target is all sin means. Find an object. And I challenge you to ask not just like why it's here, trace things down to their bottom. Like, just like you said, keep asking why. Like, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? That's how you become an expert. That's how you become confident. And you can walk around and people might be like, oh, why do you do this? Oh, let me tell you. Like, you know, how far I've traced this down. It's like, do you want me to start with the atoms or the electrons? Evangelism, you know, just in the church, it's like, it's all about, like, the focus is always evangelize, like, go out, go out. Jesus said, you know, the Great Commission, go out into all the nations, you know, spread the gospel and teach them everything. And it's like, did y'all check first to make sure you understand and believe what you believe? Like, are you confident about your views before you just go out? Y'all just sending people out saying stuff. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Check with yourself first, then go, then articulate. So yeah, I think taking the time to do that matters.